All right, it is just about 2 p.m. Waiting for Gab to tap in. Let's see what we can do here. Cut Chemist is in. Look at that. Hello. What up, Cut? Just waiting on Gab. He's had some technical difficulties we've been trying to remedy over the past 24 hours. Mobile Homies Bonus Edition. Waiting on my brother, the Gift of Gab. It is 2 p.m. It is 2 p.m. and I'm just waiting for my guy. We are waiting for the Dalai Lama of Pacoima to tap in with me. Where is he? Where is Gab? Gab, where are you? It's 2 p.m. What up, y'all? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to a bonus edition of Mobile Homies. I'm chilling at the house. I'm on set. You see it. Mixed mushroom tacos. Yes, that was this morning. Gab, where you at? Gab, are you? Oh, there he is. There he is. There's Gab. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Waiting for Gab. Here he. Oh, it's.
Yo,
It's happened.
we're working.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, off and on. You're cutting off and you're cutting on.
Okay. That's okay. Let's work with it.
Okay, I can see you now.
You look good, man. You got a beard trim?
Yeah, man, had to, man. My shit was like, I was looking like I was from Philly, bro. Shout out to Philly, though. Big respect to Philly. But my shit, I don't let my shit get that big. And it was big, man. You saw it. It was bigger than the last time we Instagram. I had to get my a friend of mine to come through and cut me up at the house.
Oh, you got a midnight cut?
Midnight?
Well, you know, like people that are performing non-essential services off the books
Exactly.
at your crib. You know, like, did you get a manicure and a pedicure also? Like a midnight mani-pedi?
Yeah, all of that.
Right on, man. Well, listen, thank you for doing this again.
And I got a full body wax.
The Gift of Gab.
It was great.
The Gift of Gab got a full body wax.
Yeah.
Is that what? Did you get the Manzillion?
I'm joking. I didn't really get a full body. That was a joke. I forgot. Oh, we're on Instagram. Huh? I'm gonna see all kind of posts now.
You were like,
anyway, what's up, bro?
I thought you were gonna say we're on oh shit, we're on Instagram. I was about to show you.
Nah, not at all, man. I don't do that.
That's so funny. Well, listen, man. So the episode of the Zoomcast, the episode of Mobile Homies, it played yesterday, and
okay,
and everybody was like, you know, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but everybody was like, I need to hear this dude talk for hours. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was like,
who? They need to hear who? What? Me and you talk for hours?
Yes, you.
Damn,
because
man, I'm about, you know, to all Lyrics Born fans that are also Gift of Gab Black Alicious fans, I'm about to get real active on Instagram. I just got a brand new, take a look, boom, recording studio that I can do. I can't do beats. I don't do beats, but I can do vocals here. And I'm about to get way more active. I've been a dinosaur all of these years because, you know, we came up in the 90s. So, you know, I guess the internet was present. But, you know, I'm about to start getting way more active, you know. But yeah.
I didn't see shit. What did you just what did you just put the camera on? I didn't see anything. What did you
Hold
just?
on. See that? See my new studio?
Is that a baby high chair?
What are you talking about, man?
What is that?
I'm talking about this, bro.
Okay. I see a TV.
Okay.
All right, that's cool. It's all good, man. That's great. That's great. But the point that I was trying to make, man, was that everybody really enjoyed
Wait,
that.
say that again. Say that again.
Point,
You broke up. You broke up. Say it again.
the point that I was trying to make is that everybody really enjoyed that episode, and everybody really into what you had to say, you know. And
I
these
can't
episodes.
hear you, dude. It's breaking up.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No. It was just good a second ago.
Can you hear me?
No. I heard you barely
Uh-oh.
when you said you hear me. Damn, man.
Okay. Well, Gab, can you hear me now?
Barely. I can't. I really can't. I could tell you were saying, can you hear me now? But I can only hear that.
What if I get this close?
Wow, it was just good a second ago.
Okay, are you there? Are you there? Hello? Can you hear me?
Well, okay, I'm gonna take it in the other room. I'm gonna take
Okay.
it. I'm gonna take it in the other room.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see if it works on the balcony. Oh, there you go.
Do you need a coat hanger for the top of your phone?
Hold on.
All right.
All right, now I'm out on my balcony. Check out my view.
Beautiful.
All right. Okay. Now let's get it cracking.
Can you hear me now?
Shit. Now it's messing up again.
Stick with us, y'all. We're going to fix this.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I was saying was everybody really loved your episode yesterday. They thought so many people hit me back and they were like, wow, I had no idea, because they haven't really heard us in a conversation before. They haven't heard you speak at length. You know what I mean? And I think it's fulfilling and rewarding for me to see people learn about you. What I've always known is that you're a person that has a tremendous amount of experience and depth, you know what I mean, and life experience, and really informed in opinions.
Yeah.
But we did record that over a month ago.
Yes.
Okay, so since then, thankfully, we're both in good health. You know, I would like to bring everybody up to speed. How are you doing now with your recovery and from your kidney transplant?
I'm doing well. My blood work is all great. I had a little bit of pain around the scar, but that's good. I'm 100% pretty much, man. I'm ready to go. I'm eating good. I'm eating mainly pescatarian and vegetarian, and I eat chicken like maybe twice a week, and I'm trying to cut back on that. You know, I got an exercise bike in the living room, and I just don't take health for granted anymore, bro. You know, health is very important.
Okay.
You know, with the coronavirus, obviously I can't go to the gym, I can't get out, but I just want to one thing I want to say before we get anywhere with the coronavirus, mask. I just got a face shield, gloves. It's ways we can protect ourselves. You know, it's just a matter of being smart about protecting ourselves. You know, don't go to the big crowds, and it's things we can do to. My whole science right now, if we do have to live with this thing for a minute, my whole thing is how to become bulletproof. You know, whether I need to wash all my clothes as soon as I get home every time, put them in a bag and wash them, spray everything. I spray everything that I touch. I take Lysol with me. I take disinfectant, and I take hand sanitizer with me. I'm constantly washing my hands. And anything I touch, if I open a doorknob, I spray it with Lysol because, we can't see this thing. So I think that it's a matter of adapting and learning until something happens and this goes away. I think we have to learn to adapt and just do things to protect ourselves, because soap and sanitizer kills it. So if you stay covered up and you constantly wash your hands, and it can only enter through here, or here, maybe in your ears. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But as long as you keep your face away, your hands away from your face when you're out and about, and when you go in anywhere, you might have touched it, but it can't spread by it being on your hand. So anytime you touch anything, even if your gloves, or even if I'm wearing the gloves, I wash the gloves. I think one of the focuses should be, how do we make ourselves bulletproof against it? I didn't mean to start. I know you didn't ask me anything about the coronavirus, but
Okay, just backing up though, Gab with the full face visor. Is it reflective, or can people see you through your visor?
Yeah, people who know me can,
No, what I'm saying is it the mirror visor, or is it clear?
It's clear.
It's the clear.
And it goes over my whole face. It covers my whole face.
Okay.
$25 at a medical supply store.
I'm trying to find a visor that starts here and goes all the way down my midsection.
You're serious?
Like it's a headband, like a red, white, and blue headband.
Right.
Like Bjorn Borg or some shit. You feel me?
Right. Yeah.
Like Arthur Ashe, right? Get like a headband like this.
Okay. Yeah.
With a visor that starts, but it doesn't stop at my face. It continues to go down and down and down, and it stops right around the waist. You know what I mean?
I want to get one that keeps going down and goes under my feet and back around several times, so that a whole bubble forms around me, and I can just be free and walk around in my bubble. Like, fuck you, coronavirus. I'm in my bubble. And I'll have little holes in the bubble, so I can get little things, and I can, like, if I need some shit, I can get it. Fuck that. That's the new movement. Bubble suits. Coronavirus bubble suits.
So wait a minute. So because the reason why I say that is because I heard that you can catch it through your navel. And so I'm playing. I'm just playing. No, you can't.
Man, there's so much new information on this shit every day, bro.
That's come on. But I do like your idea that if you have let's say you got a whole visor that starts here and it goes around your entire body like a hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
But then it does have like a little takeout window in it, so that people can give you shit. You feel me? Like
right.
when you.
So you're basically covered in plastic, and then you have your gloves on. So none of your clothes and none of your. I think that's the next step. Plastic suits. Plastic suits. No, hey, think about this. You cover your face, cover everything on your face, cover your whole body, cover all the clothes you're wearing. You got gloves on, so your gloves aren't exposed, and you just be hella hot in the summer. But hey, I'm about to market that shit.
Okay.
I said it on Instagram. Somebody probably beat me to it now. But anyway, glad to share the idea.
Well, listen, man. So one thing that this conversation so far demonstrates to me is that you're in great health and you're in great spirits, and you certainly look good, man. You know what I mean? I see you got this whole thing going on right here. I
got new kidneys, man. I'm second lease on. I'm not sick from kidney failure. See, with kidney failure, you don't really recognize how sick you are until you get the new kidneys, and then you get this boost of energy. And you're like, wow, man, it was really like, I couldn't even tell because I was used to it, So like that's why I'm on the bike and I'm exercising. I'm staying healthy, and my whole focus is how to be coronavirus bulletproof right now. I think people don't think about that enough. I think people even think, well, and obviously people need to stop fucking going out and being in crowds. I don't know why people are doing that still. Well, I understand why last week, but
yeah.
we got to talk about that too. That's a whole other thing. But you know, it's ways you can be. You just got to outthink the virus, just like any other problem in life that you face, where it's like you don't see a solution. You have to sit and you have to use this thing, and you have to say, okay, what can be done? How do I get it? I get it either through my nose, my eyes, or my mouth. So I keep my hand, and it can only happen if I don't have a mask on, and if I touch. So the ways you either if you don't have a mask on, or if you touch something and touch your face. That's how you get it. Or if it's on your clothes and it remains, and then you can just take your clothes off when you get home, wash your hands, put them in a bag, and don't wear them again until you wash them. So my whole thing right now, LB, is not. It is social distancing and all the things we have to do. It is. I hope they get a vaccine, but we got to start thinking of if we have to live with this shit, you know, it's ways. You know, I'm serious. It's way, and people need to think about this shit. It's ways to be bulletproof against this.
Let me ask you that. Let me ask you this, because recently, right? I mean, the government has started lifting things, and you're starting to see people out in crowds more. Like I'm on Instagram, I'm seeing people hanging out, they're shoulder to shoulder, they're sharing food, they're at bars. When you see that, how does that make you feel?
I feel like we talked about this last time. I feel like people, and I'm not gonna say I've been the most, or I am the most responsible person I know in my life, but it's kind of up to us too. This whole thing leaving, it's like we can make this thing go away. Think about it. If everybody somehow in the world agreed to stay inside for a month, everyone who had it, it would come out within 2 weeks, and we would know everyone who had it. They could go get their help, and then everybody else could get whatever distancing, quarantining plan they have to get together. There's a plan could be put together. I don't know why, because this thing can be defeated, but the problem is going to take everybody. Nobody can really be selfish. Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless of what, because I don't want, and I understand that. I hate being in the house, you know, even though I have this beautiful balcony, but I hate being in the house all the time. But it's life. It's like, and I'm taking anti-rejection medication for my new kidney. So my immune system is compromised.
So how do you feel? Because I understand that. I mean, I understand that as a culture right now, we're crazy antsy. Everybody's antsy. Everybody's got cabin fever. Everybody wants to get back to their lives. I mean, I understand. I feel that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But do you feel as though us trying to get back to normalcy, trying to get back to our lives, is it premature right now for people to be out there at the beach?
Yeah. Well, it's if you look at the COVID news and you type in COVID spikes, California is spiking right now. California has been spiking since Memorial Day, since after Memorial Day, and I don't think they've even started counting the protesters yet. A lot of places, Texas, Arizona, Florida, a lot of the places are spiking, which makes me even more curious, as like it almost feels like they're trying to get us to adjust and condition us to live with this thing. And like when I said protect yourself, I don't mean I want to be walking around with a bubble on, but I feel like they're conditioning us. I don't know, I can't prove it, so maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it feels like they're trying to, because why wouldn't they close it again? Why would spikes be going up and more deaths? Obviously money, you know, which we all need to make money, and I guess America needs to make money too, the nation, the government, whatever.
But though.
I kind of feel like it's a philosophy of human beings over life. And I think the people that are out and in crowds, if you ain't part of the solution, you're part of the problem. and I'm not saying that to diss anybody. I'm just saying this shit is killing people
Yeah.
from human contact. And if you don't choose to do the distancing thing for right now, and it ain't just about one person, man. You might be healthy and think, hey, I can't get it, but what if your grandma gets it? What if your uncle gets it? What if you going out and being gung-ho and going, I'm healthy, so if I get it, I'm gonna beat it. You could have it for 2 weeks, not know you have it. You could give it to 100 people in
Yeah.
that time, and they can give it to 1,000,
Right.
and then they can give it to 10,000. So I think it's important people be conscious of what's going on. I understand the rioting. I just sometimes I feel like I think that the statement absolutely was necessary to be made. And with the new legislations they're talking about for police, obviously, and with all of the people coming together, a lot of people of different cultures coming together and marching and protesting, I think that the voice of the voiceless is getting louder than ever right
Yeah.
now. And I think that's a good thing that's come from it. But it's a fucking trap. Oh, they're going to go out and they're going to riot and they're going to all together and tons of them are going to catch the fucking disease and spread it to other people.
Well,
And I think that we
let's
have
talk.
to
Yeah.
keep awareness of a lot of things, man.
Right. Let's talk about that for a second, because when we last spoke, when we taped the first mobile homies, right, aired yesterday, I'm not totally sure, but I think we taped it before the Breonna Taylor death. You know what I mean? I think we
Yeah,
certainly taped it before the George Floyd killing. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And the world is a different place now since we last spoke a month and a half ago, right? Or whenever that was.
Yeah.
And, the Bay Area, as always, as usual, is ground zero, right, for the social unrest and the protests and the uprising and the demonstrations and and you live 6-7 blocks from where all this was happening, right? When all the
Yeah.
protests were happening in downtown Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel now versus when we spoke a month ago, when you see these incidents and when you see the police response, you see our response as citizens, how does that make you feel to watch all of this?
Another line, I had to decline it. When you
Okay.
see the people's response and our response to what went
And,
on with George Floyd,
right. And like you said, meanwhile, the backdrop is that we still have this crazy pandemic happening. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So what's going through your mind, as a human being?
I feel like I was pretty outraged because police brutality, particularly against people of color, has been going on since America started. And now, they've got a bunch of stuff on video and police are still getting away with it. So for everything to be happening that's happening and for someone to go out of their way to put their knee on a man who was handcuffed, laying down
Right.
on the ground, subdued, didn't have a weapon, it was just, that's going to create, definitely I was pissed off. Now, when I saw people rioting, my first impulse was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? Make a statement. But then right after that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right though. They're going to fucking be exposing themselves to this virus. And, um, I, how do I feel about it?
It's
I don't know, man,
it's
because
complicated. There's so many. I mean, it's like every emotion you can possibly feel right now.
yeah,
For me anyway.
yeah.
It's like anger, frustration, anxiety, fear.
Nervousness about the people that were out there and
Right.
about the spike that has created, I would say potentially, but it has created another spike.
Yeah.
I feel like, if I tell you how I really feel, I feel like, it's becoming no longer a thing of, you know, white versus black or whatever. Right now, it's citizens against the establishment. And people want to act like, oh, you're talking about revolution. It's that real right now.
How so? How so?
I don't know. You know what? Let me not say that because that's just my own take. I don't know that this was created by a bat, bro. I don't know. We've been, you know, like I keep saying, man, we've been on planet Earth with bats since the beginning of recorded human history. And we just find this out, and it's in all 50 American states. And then you got to look at the different coincidences. Trump fired the pandemic team in the White House. This was the team of people that were responsible for going out and looking for pandemics and knowing what to do if they seemed like they were coming our way. He fired them a year before. Now it's still rising. They opened it up. Look at this. You used to see COVID on the headline news. When you YouTube then headline news, all you would see is coronavirus. Now you don't see it at all. It's definitely some important stuff about, you know, what's happening after the George Floyd. But you don't. It's almost like they want us to forget. I feel like we're being conditioned to get used to this shit.
Well, let me ask you this, right? Because, like I said, in the past month, we've seen what's been very public was the George Floyd incident.
Yeah.
Breonna Taylor. You know, but the list goes on and on. We could talk about Oscar Grant. You know, we could talk, you know, Orlando. We could talk about dozens and dozens and dozens over the past year, and those are just the ones we know about, right? Those are just the ones we know about, and I'll take that. Let's go even deeper. Let's go even deeper than that. That is those are the cases that we know about. There are countless cases that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, it's happening all the time, every day.
And you know, I would venture to say that this is not just an issue with a single group. I would say that, you know, to take it even further, just based on my own personal experience and based on people that we know and our other friends, this is a problem that we've seen in communities of color for decades, right? All communities of color for decades. So now, but now it's very public. Now there seems to be more awareness on this in a certain way, in a different way than previously.
Yeah.
What do you think is the fundamental problem that we are having as human beings, and how can we that we feel this way toward each other, that we can treat each other this way?
Ego. You know, ego. This person's different from me, or this person is not from where I'm from, or this person is of a different culture. You know, racism to me is all about whoever's being racist is their racism is being manifested out of their own fear and their own ignorance about who someone else is in their culture, and labeling someone by the way that they look. You should never, and we've all been guilty of it in our life.
Right.
Maybe someone is dressed corny or something like that, and we walk in and we completely project who that person is. And if we have an interaction with them, we might even treat them like the way we perceive them in their mind, and they might not even be who we are perceiving them as. I feel like it's really important.
Profile.
I think different cultures, and I was telling a friend of mine, I think different cultures need to start having dialogue. Like, and really dialogue with the aspect of saying what your views and your experience is, but then really trying to understand, as long as the person's not coming from a blatantly racist place, you know, just trying to understand what the other person's going through, what they learned coming up, and where they're coming from. I think lack of understanding creates confusion, which creates fear, which creates ego, which creates all of the, you know, will that happen? I don't know. I'd be an advocate for it if it happened, you know.
Right.
And we all got to do that, because at the end of the day, if there is going to be some kind of change, let me just say the word change. I won't say the R word. Let's say if there is going to be some kind of change, as black people and you as Asian people, we got to come together. And we got to realize that it's going to take all of us, including white people. And there were white people that were riding. And I know some people are like, oh, well, they don't. Nah, it's not all white people. It's a group. White people have been riding with black people since the slavery. Since there was the Quakers who saved slaves and helped them get out of the plantation. So
Right.
you can never judge a person by what another group of people did ever, man, no matter who you are, no matter
Back.
what your circumstance is, because unless you really friend one day or might save you when you're in a position one day. So,
Back.
you got to really
Yeah.
you can't judge people until you really talk to them, you really feel their vibe and their energy, and then you know whether you want to stay around them or whether you want to get away from them,
Right. Yeah. And
That's
I
how I
think
look
that's
at it.
an important, I think that's, I agree with you 100%. Now, I think that we can't lose sight. We can't let the emotion of the moment, because it's a very emotionally charged time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't lose focus on who we are. You know what I mean? And this is for all the in my opinion, all right, and I might get into trouble for this, right? But in my opinion, for all the
Tell the
crazy
truth.
shit, that's happening in the world, right now, obviously the pandemic, the protests, the political situation here in America, the polarization, people being on different sides of damn near on opposite sides of damn near every issue right now.
Yeah.
It feels like sometimes we can't lose sight of the fact that people are just going to feel differently
Yeah.
than we
Yeah.
do at any given moment and on any given issue.
But if you start to see that there's an ambush happening, I do see the voice getting louder. I do see the voice again. Now, hopefully it lasts, but I do see it. I do see it getting louder. You
Yes,
know,
yes, I
and I
agree.
think that alone, I think that'll be in a better direction. You know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, what we're seeing right now is a lot of these attitudes and a lot of these sort of this culture of hostility and a lot of this these policies that allow for brutality and that allow for the separation of people's rights. You know what I mean? I think these are becoming outdated very quickly as people get more exposed to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether they see these happening, I think they're becoming, like I think 10 years from now, we're going to be like, hey, man, do you remember when such and such and such and such happened? That's crazy. That shit would never
Yeah.
happen. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying racism is going to go away, and I'm not saying pandemics are going to go away. I'm just saying that our attitudes now, the attitude of change is accelerating very
It is.
quickly. You know what I mean?
We're kind of
Because the
being pushed
information,
into it.
that's right. Yeah. I mean, it's this, we're in the midst of this wave, and it's just an impossible velocity that nobody can fight the truth at this point. It's
Mm-hmm.
put right in front of you. You're forced to, you have to deal with it. You know what I mean? You cannot tune out. And well, I suppose you can, but you can't forever, because everybody around you in your sphere is talking about it. It's on everybody's consciousness right now.
Yeah.
And it can't be reversed. It cannot be
It's a trip. Yeah, it's a trip you say that, man, because I stay aware of what's going on, but I realize that it's not really a healthy thing to think about this for too long. To keep your mind on exactly what's happening for too long, for me, it starts feeling a little, all right, I need to zen out for a minute. I need to detach for a
Yeah.
minute. Because, there are solutions. I would say, there, but I don't know if people are down to come together and go, let's focus on whatever it is. You know, let's social distance. Let's stay inside for a month. Everybody agreed to it, and we can get rid of this thing. You know, if not, let's try to promote coronavirus-proof suits. Like I'm serious, bro. That sounds crazy. A plastic suit over your fucking and a shield over your face sounds nuts, man. But fuck it, man. If we want to start living free, and this shit is gonna be lasting for, if this shit goes over a year, man, it's kind of like we need to do something to where we can still live our lives.
Yeah.
But we can be bulletproof from coronavirus. You know,
Well,
I think that's Lysol. I think that's a suit. I think also Lysol.
Yeah.
Anytime I open a door, bro, like I was telling you before this, anytime I go somewhere and I have to go somewhere, like the doctor's office or something like that, if I open a door, I spray the door now. I don't touch anything that's not sprayed.
Yeah.
Anything. If I'm going to sit on a chair, I spray the chair. And like in the doctor's office, I sprayed it. I let it sit for a couple of minutes, then I'll sit down. Yeah. Anything I touch in the outside world, damn, it's fucked up. You can't touch shit in the outside world. How fucked up is that? But you know, anything that I touch in the outside world, I spray.
Well, you have a different perspective too, because you're immunocompromised also because of your transplant, because of your surgery. You are at risk. You are one of those guys that we heard about when this first broke out.
Yep.
You are one of those folks that is immunocompromised, and your risk is much higher. And so you're coming from a different place, and I understand that because, you know, as the protests were happening, I wanted to go out. You know, I was just caught up in the emotion of the moment, and I wanted to go out and pick up a sign and be there.
I did too, bro. I did too.
Well, let me ask you this, but I didn't. And the reason why I didn't is because my wife is immunocompromised. I mean, a lot of people know, you know, Joyo Velarde, she's in remission. Thank God she's in remission from cancer. Absolutely. I mean, you know, I talk about it on the song Can't Lose My Joy, you know, from my last album. So it's very risky for me to go out and be in big crowds. So, you know, we finally did do a protest here in Berkeley, but she agreed to it. She was like, I was like, are you sure you want to do that? And she was like, yeah, no, I feel okay about it. You know, da.
You know, Berkeley's doing really well. When you check the Alameda County numbers, Berkeley has less than 100, I think less than. So Berkeley's doing really well. Oakland is at like 1,500 though. And that's like right across from Berkeley. But the city of Berkeley, from what I saw, you never know what's absolutely true and what's absolutely false. From what I saw, Berkeley has like not a lot, like 100. Not to say that that's good because anybody getting it is bad.
Right. So knowing your situation, you are at risk. When you saw these protests popping off, were you like, was there a moment there where you were like, despite the risk, despite everything that I'm feeling, maybe I should show up?
Yeah. I felt like that, but then it was like, damn, you know, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna definitely be a part of it. But then I was like, what if I come back and I get sick?
Right.
And that's not gonna change the way I feel about that.
Right.
But I think that certain people like myself or certain people that are compromised, immunocompromised, or elderly people should really be extra cautious because it's way easier for us to get it than other people. You know, that's if this wasn't going on, I'd have been down there, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you know, on the one hand, when I see these photos, right, of like LA or Oakland or San Francisco on the Golden Gate Bridge, and you see these thousands and thousands of people all together in solidarity, you know, behind change, you get really, really inspired. But then on the flip side, you're like, but wait a minute, fuck, we're still in the middle of a highly contagious.
Right.
And so, and that was the part that was a little disconcerting for me. And that's the complication. That's what's so complex about
the same thing I just said to you. Yeah.
That's
crazy, man. You don't really know how to deal with it, man, other than, you know, let your boy, you know, the good thing with me and you, bro, and artists and musicians is we have a platform right now. So we can really be modern day griots if we choose to right now. We can really spread our message, whether it's through our music or through words or through both. We can, because at the end of the day, right now, man, I think it's very important to add on in a positive way, man. I think it's a very important time more than ever to add on and try to talk to people, try to wake people up, because at the end of the day, the answer is always unity. Black unity within the black community, but humanity, unity, period. At the end of the day, the
Right.
ultimate vision should always be for a better planet Earth. And we as human beings are the most evolved species on the planet Earth. So that's going to be either up to us or or we'll create, or we can create the opposite of that.
Do you think that we're working against that unity right now? Do you think
I
we're
don't know that we're working against it. I believe we're conditioned. I believe we're living under years and decades of even our parents and our grandparents conditioning in America, which was founded on, I know people trip off of this, some people trip, well, America was based on white supremacy. Um, and it's supposed to be this country where everyone's equal and people can come from everywhere and we all have the same opportunity, but it's not really like that, man. It's not really like that. I think that, and growing up, I know as an Asian person growing up, it's probably similar for you. When I watch Warner Brother movies as a young black man growing up, or a young black child growing up, I saw people with bones in their noses and bunga 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 and mammies and all kinds of fucking images. And then you see Asian people and you see the stereotypical version of them. But
yeah,
then everyone in the Middle East is a terrorist. But then Mexicans don't need to come in the country because they're whatever.
yeah,
And then when you see the image of a white person on TV, he's talking perfectly and right because white is right and everything. Everyone should be like this. And I'm not making fun of how white people talk. I'm making fun of white supremacy, which is not all white people, but it's a mind state that this is the way you are supposed to act, particularly if you want to be successful. If you want to be successful in any kind of mainstream thing, you know,
yeah. It,
it's
you know,
if you act too different culturally, or
yeah,
they don't understand where you're coming from culturally, you get exploited, you get labeled, and you get made fun of to a degree. And it's been like that. And a lot of police, to my knowledge, a lot of police were in this organization called White Knights, which were former Klans members who joined the police force so they could harass and mess with people of color. And a lot of these things go unspoken about. And they happen, and the people in the poorer communities can see this, but it's hidden from a lot of other people. And it's almost like, and then anytime you see people, minorities on TV, particularly, I'm talking about black people right now, you see images of, thugs and selling dope and killing and all, and that happens, but we didn't come to this country like that. This is a product of living in America under oppression and slavery for 400 years. We didn't come over. We didn't come to this country like that. And other cultures come to this country because it's sold like this is, you can make it here. Everything's free, but you get here and you face discrimination. I love the people in America. I love the citizens, that aren't racist motherfuckers. I love the people, but the people that are in control, I don't believe they care about us. I think we're expendable to them. And I think the problem is the people don't realize that it's us. It's us. It's the establishment versus, and that's how we get rid of it. We can't, they're not going to come and give us 40 acres of new reparations, equal. They're not going to come for us. I don't think, maybe the voice is getting louder. But I think ultimately people need to unite because there are powers in numbers. Whether it's, and when I say change, which is what revolution means, I'm not necessarily talking about blood and guts and killing. It can be a mental, or it could be a spiritual, or it could be economic. What would happen if everyone of color just didn't shop at Walgreens for 2 months? The fuck, you know how much power that would be?
Yeah.
But people don't realize that we actually have the power. They're looking for the perpetuators of fucked up shit to save us from the fucked up shit that they want us to save. And you know, like I said, I may not have everything 100% because there's so much gray area right now. And when you deal with that kind of thing, our conspiracy theories, all that, whatever, you know, I can't prove it. So it might not be, when
Well,
you peep it, that's how it feels, man. You know, I
well,
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
well, I think one thing that you are right about is
Mhm.
that nothing really changes until you speak up and you advocate for
We've been
yourself.
speaking up for 50 years. We've been Martin Luther King, Huey Newton, Malcolm X.
Yeah,
The hippie movement. We've been speaking up for
yeah,
fucking we've been speaking up for decades. We were protesting for
right.
decades. We've been rioting for
Yeah,
decades.
yes.
And then shit'll get a little better for a second. Oh, boom, and then it'll just be the same shit.
Yeah. But the point that I'm trying to make though, right, is that anytime you've seen a shift in society forward or you've seen movement in the culture forward, it's because it was demanded. It's because it was
Right.
it was forced upon those
Yeah.
that made decisions
Yeah.
or those that contributed to the status quo by not speaking up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there was change in society or there was change in the culture, it's because we collectively spoke up, we demanded it, we forced people to make a decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
and I, for instance, right, you know, when we heard about Ahmaud Arbery, right,
What about
and
who?
Ahmaud Arbery, and there was no action, there was no police action after he was killed
Right.
until the videotape surfaced, right?
Yeah.
And then the meme that went around was so poignant and said it all. It's like they didn't change because they saw the tape. They changed because we saw the tape. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's the point is when you demand it, when you demand change and then you force it upon somebody, they have to comply. They have to comply if that pressure is great enough. You know what I mean? They have to
Yeah.
comply. And I
Yeah.
think that's the point. And you know, particularly in the Asian community, historically, we have a problem with that because
Mm-hmm.
culturally, we say to ourselves, just put your head down, keep working, don't worry about it, it'll get better, just da 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 da. But that's not the way that the American culture works. The American culture works is the way that American culture works is um,
If you want to
the
get around, you got to know how to push.
that's right. And what's the phrase? Hungry mouth gets fed, or the loud mouth gets fed, right? Whatever
Yeah.
the phrase is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I think something like within our community, that's something that we have to get accustomed to very quickly right now. You know, if we
Yeah.
haven't been that way, is we have to advocate on behalf of ourselves
And
because
that's why I'm
otherwise things.
saying that's why I said the first step is unity, because we can't have any of that unless we first somehow come together, you know,
Right.
and be united and have big enough numbers for it
Yes.
to make a difference, you know, because if it's 3 people saying it, it ain't gonna do nothing. But if it's
Right.
like this police thing got dealt with because the world was protesting, the world was focused on this, and it was, you know, that was the best thing that happened because finally everyone gets exposed to what people of color in America have been dealing with since they've been in America, you know.
So
And
on
then
a
but
yeah.
we got to do more than just see it, though, Tom.
Yeah.
I mean, LB, we got to do more than just see it. We got to be able to organize something. I don't have all the answers, so don't think I'm a guru of this, and I'm still learning too. You know,
Yeah.
but we somehow I know that I can see that it's going to take a big enough number of people coming together to make that statement. And it has to be all, it can't just be one culture. It has to be, and that's the big problem too. It has to be every culture in America, starting with America, then with the world, because ultimately we're all on a planet called Earth. in one thing, and we all see the same moon, and we all see the same sun and sky.
Yeah.
It's the same. We can fragment it and
Yeah.
go, okay, God bless America and nowhere else, and, you know, take a bite out of Chris Rock. But we live in a world, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
but that's the problem. But see, I think the social media is a good tool because we can have discussions like this on Instagram. We can talk to our fans, and we can just we can at least try to put out some kind of solution based mentality, or at least try to throw it out and see if anybody hears it, and if they agree, and if they can add on to it and build to it. You know what I mean?
let me ask you this, because as a person, you know, you're probably one of the most well-read people I know, particularly on issues of like history and metaphysics and
More metaphysics than history, you
yeah,
know. But I dabble in both. But I'm more into like spiritual literature and elevating your consciousness and why are we here, and you know I'm into shit like that.
so, no, totally. And so bearing that in mind, knowing that about you, where are we at right now, do you think, as a culture, spiritually, in your opinion? Like, where
The planet Earth, America, the planet Earth.
let's just talk about American spirituality,
Okay.
American consciousness right now, in your opinion.
I feel like it's a small group of people that rule the minds of the masses. I feel like the minds of the masses are ruled by media, you know, TV, you know, politics, even religion to a degree. I won't go deep into that because no disrespect, everyone has the right to be their own religion. But I think that it's a lot, literally. And people will say, "Oh, no, you're thinking about a science fiction movie." So it's a lot of mind control going on, man. You think about it, and a small group of people dictate the way the rest of us move through reality and through this existence. You know, I think that, but that's the problem. We've been talking about everything you wanted me to answer. We've been talking about it, man. Without unity, man. These small group of people who control the minds of the masses continue to manipulate the minds of the masses and continue to manipulate and fuck over everybody. But unless people wake up and realize what's happening, and if people are comfortable, they're going to be less to even trip, because it's like, why should I even buy? Well, now it's getting more serious though. Back before the virus, it was kind of like, oh, that's y'all's problem. But now we all have the same problem.
Right.
And I think for something to like what happened to George Floyd to happen right now, I think that it should wake a lot of people up, man. And people need to see that unity and people standing together, you know, Black people and all people of all cultures. You know, that's the answer in America. Unless it's that, they'll just keep running whatever agenda they have. Now, you know, when I say that, I'm going on research I've done and things I've seen and people I've talked to. I want to say that. I can't prove that anything that I'm saying about the conspiracy stuff is true. You know, so I just want to put that out there because, you know, I can't. You know, it's just what I can see. Either way, even if it isn't a conspiracy, the people being united, period, for any cause is a powerful thing.
Facts.
You know?
Yeah, I agree, man. And you know, the crazy thing is the timing of all this.
Huh?
You know what I mean?
What happened?
The timing of all this is so crazy to me, man, right? Like, we're in the midst of this. It's not just America, it's a global pandemic. Everybody on the planet Earth is affected by this. The planet Earth, right?
Yeah.
Then here in America, right? Now we have the protests, the police protests, right? That you know, spurred by years of brutality, but now coming to a head with the death of George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
It's an election year, you know, probably one of the craziest election years in my lifetime, you know what I mean? With one of the most controversial presidents since I've been aware of politics, you know, in my lifetime. And you sit back and you're like, this timing is something, there's something to this here. There's something that if you believe in a higher power, and if you are a spiritual person in that way, or whatever way, you have to step back and say, why is all this happening now? Why is this why are all these events converging at this very moment?
Let me build on that. I gotta a lot of my shit is theories though, bro. So you just have to agree or disagree. But I saw this blog from a friend of mine about how there's a conscious awakening, or you could say evolution, going on right now. If you look at it, a lot of people are questioning a lot of things that they never questioned, from religion to Christianity to the way shit is set up, to everything. Not to say any of those things are bad. It's just that we now live in the information age, and we have access to information that we didn't have. We can go, I've done this, we can go research Christianity with the origins, where it came from, the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, Constantine and the Roman Empire taking 77 books, rewriting them, turning them into one book, and switching it around and putting some of their own shit in, and making it more about being a politician. Kind of like, I think this might be where religion and state became one. It was in the Roman Empire in 325 AD. Constantine in the Council of Nicaea. And you can learn that there were 7 other people who were born on the 25th and resurrected. No, was born on the 25th and resurrected after their death. There was, in Kemet, there was Horus and Osiris. Born on the 25th, born on the 25th, you can look this up on Google. Born on the 25th, resurrected. Then there was Isis. Then there was Krishna. It's not a new story. And then you go back and you learn that it's all astrology. The sun. Didn't we talk about that last time, or did we?
No, but
well, man, it's all you learn. And like I said, I'm not saying anything I say is. Everybody has the right to check me, correct me, hit me up, challenge me, and enlighten me if you can. But then from the research I've done, you learn that the Bible is based on astrology. 12 disciples, 12 star constellations, 22nd, 3 stars pointing to a big star on the east, pointing towards the sun, the 3 wise men, the star of the east, the sun, which, it's a theory. It's a theory. You there? It's a theory that the sun is actually Jesus Christ. The sun rises up and goes down. When it gets to the land is flat. So when it gets right here, it's going up and down. And this is how, what I researched, the cross, and it came from pagan religion. And if you look at all the early pictures of Jesus, the sun is behind him. Because originally, the Bible is a book of allegory, meaning like a metaphor in a rap song. The Bible is, like the Buddhists say, the Bible is another finger pointing at the moon, but the problem is people are focusing on the finger and not the moon. So a lot of that information is there for everybody to see. So people are going and they're starting to uncover shit that before, maybe 30 years ago, 40 years, they couldn't uncover because the information was not readily for them right there. We are absolutely, this information age thing, it could be a fucked up thing, but it can also be a good thing. And anything I've said, if anybody questions it, Google it. And if you find something I don't know, hit me on my Instagram, hit me. And if you can enlighten me and I'm always open to expand my way of thinking, But
I think that this session is going to end very soon, and I just want to leave it on that note. And I think that one of the big things that I got from you out of this bonus of Mobile Homies was unity and consciousness, and we need all of that right now.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you.
We need to know who we are. We need to know who we are because
Yes, facts.
Because God is not a white man in the sky, nor is he a black man, nor an Asian. To say that God is one race is the most stupidest thing you could do, because what does that mean to every other culture? But that's a part of white